All right, folks. Welcome back to the Crisis Report. We've had a bit of a development tonight, it seems. We're going to cover it all. We're going to start with the daily on the stuff. And then we're going to let our good friend Christian at Ice Age Farmer announce the official attack and what his thoughts are. And then we're going to take it to the post-op. And basically everybody in the Middle East right now is waiting for a response from Iran. Trump has threatened them again, said if you do anything, we'll hit you harder. And things have changed. So this is a unique report because it starts before and it gives you the buildup, and as you read through it, you can kind of see where things are trending. And then the deed is done, and now we are dealing with what happens next. And a lot of people don't know what happens next. And to be honest, I don't know what happens next. What I do know is that, well, I don't know that. I personally think it's going to escalate. I personally think that Iran, there's I think it was Steve Bannon and John Solomon. It might have been someone with John Solomon. He's a Fox News contributor. He said basically, Iran has not given up on any of this yet. Why would they now? So this is going to start in the morning, and you're going to be like, okay, what the heck? It's going to talk about all the different things and what's going on and the movement of B-2s and all that. And that's how things were going. And we had like a family cookout kind of thing in the day, or like not a block party, but like a neighborhood party over at my mother-in-law's. And so we were over there, and my wife had to work. And I got home and I got into a bit of a project. There's a guitar amp I have, and I wanted to spruce it up, so I refaced it. So basically took it all apart, repainted it, all the bolts out, just redid everything, made it look brand new. So I did that for like 2 hours. And then my wife and I decided to go on our walk. We go on a walk, and when we got as deep into the woods as you could go, because we go on a nice woodland trail, I started getting all kinds of text messages that something was going on. And so, I rushed back and I covered things from the PrepperNow channel because, it's just got a bigger footprint. But then everything happened, and I watched Trump speak, and, we recorded it and all that. And now we've got all the information of before, as it happened, and now what we have to contend with. And things are not over. Things are not swell. Things are going to go in ways that we don't really know. So the only way to know is to do what we do here, and that's to go through all this, to talk about it, to see where the information leads, and to do an educated guess. And if you've been a follower of this channel for some time, our educated guesses have been pretty spot on or close. Person said, hey, when do you think? I said, honestly, and this was like on Wednesday, Thursday, I said, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it over the weekend. It's going to be Friday evening or Saturday. Comment's probably still up somewhere in one of these videos. And here we are Saturday. The reason why is because, Friday is when the market is done. Market gets done at 4 o'clock. And from there, you can strike, and you've got about 48 hours of clearance. So nothing really affects markets too much. So let's get to it. 5 minutes in. Yes, we do that on purpose for a couple reasons. First and foremost, so we get people in the room. But second of all, if there's a problem with the stream, like we had twice yesterday, We can figure it out. We can tap out, step away, and come back, okay? I do things for a reason here, because I've been here for 5 years, grown 2 pretty successful channels, because we do things in a certain way. I appreciate everybody's input, but let's sit back and let's go through the information. Let's try to make an educated guess where things are going, okay? I've not posted here. I've not had a chance to post here, but I will be posting here. This is where things go if things get taken down here. And if you know the way things work on this platform, that's always a possibility. It is what it is. All right, here we go. This is your crisis report from the 4-hour attacks for June 21st, 2025. Magnitude 5.2 earthquake struck 35 kilometers southwest. Semnan, Iran, 1749 UTC. It was a depth of 10 kilometers. It was too deep for a nuclear test. People were all freaked out about that. Iran nuclear issue cannot be resolved through military means, French foreign minister. U.S. is replenishing its stockpile of THAAD interceptor missiles deployed to Israel, Wall Street Journal. Footage from the first round of the meeting of Iran and E3, Europe, foreign ministers, and the EU foreign policy chief in Geneva. Foreign Minister of Iranian regime Abbas Araghchi says he shook hands, smiled. European counterparts, nothing major happened. Iran will lose the war, a nuclear program, former Iran envoy Elliot Abram has stated. Israeli air strikes Tabriz, northern Iran. Israeli strikes in Mashhad, Iranian-Turkmenistani border. Israeli military official told Channel 12 Israel is preparing to strike Iran's main nuclear facility and is awaiting Washington's decision to join the war. And we're going through this because this is going to tell you exactly how it went down, where it went down, and now where we're at. U.S. and European diplomats say that confidential conversations are going on between who would lead Iran next if the current regime should fall, CBS News has stated. Europe's nuclear talks with Iran stall, no breakthrough achieved. Talk between Europe officials and Iran ended without progress on curbing Iran's nuclear program, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. Britain and France supported U.S. demands for Iran to halt nuclear fuel enrichment, intensifying pressure on Tehran amid deadlocked negotiations. Trump administration is reportedly considering backing Israeli strikes on Iran. Neither here nor there now. CNN, Iranian officials inform European mediators that they will not engage with the U.S. delegation while Israeli attacks continue, and that is still their standpoint. Despite being told the U.S. may not control Israel's actions, European officials agreed to convey Iran's message to Washington. In response, Iran indicated it might pause the strike on Israel, potentially opening a path to direct talks if both sides cease hostilities. That is a long time ago. That was from this morning, and that seems like a year ago now. Everything is different. Pakistan has nominated Trump for the 2026 Nobel Peace Prize for his pivotal role in the de-escalation of the India-Pakistan crisis. UK delegation delivered an ultimatum to Iran on behalf of the U.S. during Geneva talks. Iran's regime foreign minister Abbas Araghchi says Iran no longer knows if the U.S. can be trusted, calling Trump administration a betrayal to diplomacy. Israeli Air Force has started a series of strikes against missile storage and launching infrastructure in central Iran. Reports indicate a targeted hit has taken place in the Iranian city of Qom. Iran has now been largely offline for 60 hours. Metrics show the internet shutdown continues to severely limit the public's ability to express political viewpoints, communicate freely, and follow safety alerts amid ongoing conflict with Israel. German ZDF correspondent, which was in Geneva to cover nuclear negotiations, referred to a very remarkable point, said the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi was forced to obtain permission from Israel for his air trip and inform them because the Iranian airspace became actually under the control of Israel. It's crazy. Yedioth Ahronoth, citing Israeli military officials, Iran will likely recover from the strikes launched by Israel. Iran has begun to recover in terms of air defense. Israel is monitoring attempts to restore their capabilities. Iran has effective surveillance systems and has resumed launching anti-aircraft missile. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, NBC, says we have reached the conclusion that American diplomacy was nothing more than a cover for Israel's evil scheme. If the United States wants to even hope for resuming diplomacy with Iran, it must first consider Israel or order Israel to cease its attacks. We are so far away from that now, it's not even humorous. If the U.S. doesn't strike Iran's underground Fordow nuclear enrichment facility, Israel is seriously considering a commando raid. We know the answer to that one. Israel risks depleting its stockpile of Arrow 3 missiles if Iran keeps continuing launching. Israeli Air Force bombed Lebanon earlier today. IAF spokesman Hezbollah is preparing to launch salvos of missiles into northern Israel now that Israeli interceptor stocks are depleted, making Hezbollah more dangerous and potentially more lethal. Trump announced that he and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have brokered a peace treaty between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Rwanda, ending a decades-long war marked by widespread bloodshed. Trump said representatives from both nations will travel to Washington on Monday to sign the agreement. It's good. Bristol University, UK, pilots an initiative where students get free rape test kits, allowing alleged victims to collect DNA samples and send them to a lab. Half the genetic material is tested and half is preserved, should they choose to report the incident later. Founders hope that it will prevent non-consensual sex by deterring potential offenders, knowing that their DNA will be on file. Well, will their DNA be on file if they murder the young lady? I've read a lot of things here that are in the realm of dumb. This is by far and away one of the most idiotic things I think I've ever read. They're giving free rape. I get the whole point, but like that's how bad it is. It's so bad they're giving out free kits. Maybe you should deal with the root problem first. I can't even believe that. It just blows me away. I remember putting that down and then reading it, and then I can't believe it. Anybody does that to my daughters, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to say that right now. There will be no legal justice system. Chinese researchers study how to trigger large-scale outages or systemic collapse Western power grid. Read that again. Chinese researchers study how to trigger large-scale outages or a systemic collapse of Western power grids. The end-of-life bill passed 314 to 291 in the Commons. Legislation now goes to the House of Lords. The bill will allow terminally ill adults with less than 6 months to live to apply for assisted death, subject to approval by 2 doctors, a panel of social worker, senior legal figure, and psychiatrist. This is in the UK, obviously. If you got 6 months to live, just write it out. 8 of 12 U.S. supersonic F-22 Raptor stealth fighters deployed to the Middle East. Obviously, we know why. Putin is concerned about the world drifting into World War III, fighting against the same forces. DNI Tulsi Gabbard responded to Trump's criticism, stating that her testimony was misrepresented and agreed with Trump that Iran must not have nuclear weapons and is weeks to months from producing one. I might add, she was not in the Situation Room tonight when the whole thing went down. In a letter to the FBI, Vance Belter claimed Governor Tim Walz instructed him to kill U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could run for the U.S. Senate. Belter alleged that he had been trained by the U.S. military off the books and Walz had asked him to kill Klobuchar and others. Who knows? U.S. Navy now has 5 guided missile destroyers in the eastern Mediterranean, according to U.S. defense officials. This is a significant increase. Earlier this week, the U.S. had just one in the eastern Mediterranean. Following Israel's attack on Iran, the U.S. had 2 positioned in the eastern Mediterranean off the coast of Israel, which helped protect Israel by shooting down incoming missiles from Iran. A federal judge has indefinitely blocked the Trump administration attempt to prevent Harvard from hosting international students. Israeli media reports that Iran is plotting attacks on Israeli and Jewish targets across Europe. You might want to have your 6 being watched and a head on a swivel over there now. God, it's so funny. I went over there and I said, I better go do this now because I don't think I'll ever be able to do it again. I literally got off the plane and Israel is attacking Iran. Ukrainian President Zelensky is asking the United States, other nations for $40 billion a year to keep the country running. No, thank you. Iranian journalist reports the IAF is continuously bombing Isfahan now. Given the type of intensity and the explosions felt from different parts of Isfahan, it is likely that Israel is using bunker-busting bombs. Given the direction of the explosion, Isfahan nuclear facility may be the target. It was hit tonight hard. Cruise missiles. Former CIA Director Leon Panetta warned the U.S. could be drawn into a regional war if he strikes Iran, saying it may be an airstrike, but it would definitely involve the United States in a war, and here we are. Strait of Hormuz is not just an artery of the global energy system, it is also one of the primary paths of the global food trade system. Qatar imports 90% of its food, bulk of it through the strait. Bahrain, Kuwait, also reliant on food imports, depending heavily on maritime trade there. UAE also imports large percentage of food, much of it passing through the strait, although it could be rerouted through other ports like Fajurah. Even Iran, ironically, relies on the strait, importing the bulk of its grains and sugar. The grains mentioned above aren't just for people, it is also animal feed. In fact, the UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait import nearly all of their animal feed. So a closure of the strait, even for a time, could cause massively cascading problems, the loss of many livestock around the Middle East, and spur a global food security crisis. So as Ice Age farmer Christian is asking you, how's your garden growing this year? We'll have him to bring us in the new age after America has attacked Iran. 50% chance U.S.-Iran nuclear deal will happen, 50% chance it won't. Polymarket, that's out the window. America's on the brink of a disaster in the Middle East, and American intervention in Iran would be a huge risk. According to Foreign Affairs magazine, we're going to find out. 3 United States B-2 stealth bombers have taken off from an airbase in Missouri and are on their way to Guam. We now know why. Not 3, but 6 B-2 bombers headed for Guam. We now know why. 14 U.S. planes loaded with military equipment entered Israel. THAADs. B-2 bombers armed and loaded with munitions. Bombers have entered the Pacific arena. They land in Hawaii. They will likely move to RAF Diego Garcia. If they land in Guam, they can launch a direct silence attack on Iran from there. 6 bombers moving, according to Fox News. This is where the intel was at about 1 p.m. today, okay? They were monitoring these B-2s and everything. This was a head fake. And so we're almost to where things pick up now. B-2 Spirit stealth bombers already conducted strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen, failed to achieve any significant result. The first reported instance occurred on October 16, 2024, targeting reportedly 5 underground weapon storage facilities in Houthi-controlled areas, marking the first use of the B-2 against the Houthis. Further B-2 strikes were reported starting March 15, 2025. Diego Garcia. Strikes yielded no results. Houthis continue to launch rockets at Israel, and the U.S. withdrew its aircraft carriers from the region. Senior Iranian official to Reuters, between zero enrichment or war, we will choose war. Well, you're about to find out. Russia says there is no proof that Iran is pursuing a nuclear weapon. Internet connection in Iran has been cut off again. Extends the closure of Iranian skies air traffic Sunday at 2 p.m. That's going to be extended again. Trump cut short his trip to New Jersey and rerouted to the White House. We now know why. Israeli Air Force estimates that more than 200 Iranian ballistic missile launchers have been taken out of service so far. This is about half the launchers the Iranians have, according to estimates. Air Force also says we eliminated dozens of soldiers near the launchers, which creates a feeling of persecution among the Iranian soldiers who are seen desperate and fleeing from the launch sites, trucks. Fox News is now talking about how B-2 attack on Fordow nuclear facility will look like the last Top Gun movie. Obviously, they're getting pumped up. Prime Minister Netanyahu expected to hold a situation assessment, 10 p.m., senior defense officials. He's already released a statement. I'm not going to read it. It's out there. It's pretty long, that's why, but he's doing a victory lap. Israeli strikes in Iran have killed more than 400 people, majority of them civilians. Beginning of the war, while in Israel, at least 25 people have been killed by Iranian retaliatory fire. Welcome to war. New York Times reported, citing 3 Iranian sources familiar with the details, Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei is sheltering in his underground bunker and has selected 3 candidates to succeed him, fearing an assassination attempt. And this is where the information changed, and we're going to let Christian Ice Age Farmer ring us into the new era of America fighting against Iran, or attacking, however you want to put it. So the president of peace just bombed Iran hours after Putin said they were not evacuating Russian scientists. Yes, there were Russian scientists in there supposedly. Maybe not, but possibly. Things are going to happen more rapidly now, and it's time to finish the preparations and brace for impact. There is a non-zero chance that cyber attacks by Iran will take down the power grid and or banking for parts or all of the U.S. soon. Also, media has repeatedly telegraphed the activation of sleeper cells, which could achieve this or cause other non-trivial disruptions to life. We covered this last night on PrepperNow. If you're new here and you need to at least have water, food, and a way to prepare for events if they have planned. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. That is Ice Age Farmer ringing us in after these attacks. Here and on PrepperNow, what we call FEMS. It is food, energy, medicine, and security. Whatever that may look like for you. Food includes water. Energy means something to at least keep your refrigerator on if you can, small generator. Medicine, having something like a JASE case or other, or at least medicinals. And of course, security, and you can use your imagination to what that looks like. You're going to need these things, folks. Okay? We're in a new way. We're in a new place. We're in a place of war. And from here, it just gets crazy. John Solomon, quote, I would not be surprised if Israel decides to take a decapitation strike against the leadership. Nobody expects Iran to make a deal. This is a dangerous situation. He's correct. We're in very dangerous times now. CNN reports neither the Democrat chairs of the House or the Senate Intelligence Committees were briefed on the strikes beforehand, while Majority Chairs Representative Rick Crawford and Senator Tom Cotton were briefed. Monitoring stations report the unprecedented movement of launchers and missiles. Large retaliation by Iran may be imminent. Facebook's new network reports that a 2230 UTC Mediastat 9 detected a flash over the Fordow enrichment plant. Event registered a 3.9 micrometer and was visible on nighttime microphysics scans. The locations aligns with a salt plain east of Fordow. That could be the very signature that shows that something happened to the nuclear site there. What that is, I cannot pontificate and tell you. I do not know. But it could be bad. Iran's supreme leader warned of consequences after the U.S. strike to nuclear facilities. Quote, if America enters the arena militarily, it will undoubtedly be an irreparable loss. New York City mayor announces increased police presence at city's religious, cultural, and diplomatic sites following U.S. strikes on Iran. Folks, have your friggin' head on a swivel. All American bases in every country will be burned, Iranian media claims. According to the advisor of the chairman of the Iranian parliament, Mehdi Mohammadi, as a result of the U.S. attack, the 3 nuclear facilities did not suffer irreparable damage. Republican Senator Tom Cotton says, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, if Iran wants to target Americans in the region or around the world, there are many other targets inside Iran they should not retaliate against our forces or American citizens anywhere. Iranian TV, every American citizen or soldier is a legitimate target for us. Trump on Truth Social, any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Netanyahu, President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, Trump of the United States acted with a lot of strength. Iran's Atomic Energy Organization condemns the recent U.S.-Israeli strikes on its nuclear sites in Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan, calling them brutal and a violation of international law and the NPT treaty. It accused the IAEA of indifference and held the U.S. accountable, citing President Trump's own statement. The organization vowed to continue its nuclear program despite the attacks and said legal action is underway to defend Iran's rights. Any future Israeli military action in Iran will depend on Tehran's response to U.S. strikes. Netanyahu says his promise to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities has been fulfilled. Israeli Minister of National Security Itamar Ben-Gvir congratulated U.S. President Trump on the American strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says that the U.S. attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities is a dangerous escalation. He called on member states of the UN to de-escalate and to uphold their UN Charter obligations and abide by international law. Tulsi Gabbard was not present in the Situation Room, nor did she appear in any of the photos shared by the White House. Iranian media quotes Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. The U.S. entering the battlefield will cause irreversible damage. All videos going around are either from the conflict in Russia or Ukraine. There would have not been explosions on the surface except for the tomahawks used. Most of the explosions were underground because they're bunker busters, that is according to Aquila. So if you're seeing people share stuff, it's a very good chance. I shared one on my Subscribestar and Locals. Pretty sure that was the Tomahawks. I can't confirm it. I think it was. It's a good channel. But yeah, most of the stuff you're seeing out there is regurgitated, reused stuff from other conflicts. There's an imminent danger of Iranian strikes, according to Aquila. U.S. Embassy in Iraq has been emptied. Coalition of warplanes will defend against Iran's retaliation. U.S. continues to monitor movement in Iran, indicating an imminent strike. 50,000 United States troops are within the range of Iranian missiles, according to Iranian state media. And Israel's Airports Authority Israeli airspace is closed to entry and exit due to developments. Land crossings to Sinai and Jordan are operating as usual. And Channel 12 says Israel will continue to attack Iran. So ask yourselves, friends, is this going to stop? Are we going to get peace through this strength? Or are we going to probably be seeing more war? I'm seeing more war, folks. Okay? So, if I were you, the best thing you can do is to do what Christian Ice Age Farmer says. I like him a lot for a reason. Because he's smart. He sees through the crap. You have to keep prepping. You have to keep doing things to make it so you can make food when there's no power. You can have clean water. You can secure your house, apartment, homestead, whatever, with something that is of a security force multiplier, if you will. You can use your imagination on that. And you should probably have the ability to tend to medical care in an extreme emergency at home, if you can, especially the minor stuff. We don't know where all this is going to go, folks. We're in a new era, okay? And the nothing ever happens, people. I'd like to thank you for playing, but I think you can use the exits at the front and rear of the arena, because we are in a new arena. This is all new. This is all new. So I don't know. I don't know where this goes. I don't know what China does. I don't know what Russia does. You know, it's not going to be nuclear flashes by tomorrow or anything like that. Nothing crazy. But it is going to grow. I mean, does anyone see diplomacy happening at this point? Seriously. Any of you? Do you see this going diplomatic? Because I don't. I don't. No. Yeah. Nope. Not even close. Nope to the no. No to the no. To the no. Yeah, it's not going to do that. It's not. So, if you like what we're doing here, folks, you can find this on Substack. It is https://PrepperNow.substack.com. We put out a report every day. It's about 30 minutes. So you can strap on your earbuds and go garden and go make food. We made a bunch of bread tonight. We made some dessert stuff yesterday. We make this kind of pasta salad. We made that because we're trying to save money. And, being able to make food and do all that yourself is self-reliant and smart. The honey wheat bread we made tonight with Azure Standard's wonderful red wheat grain was absolutely fantastic and organic. Can't tell you how wonderful it was to have a nice little slab of butter on there and to consume that beautiful bread. I look forward to sandwiches tomorrow. Go garden. Go make food. Go prep. Go learn how to clean water, or maybe hit a tin can from 50 yards. Do something to get you into a preparedness kind of mindset. Because right now, going out and watching videos probably isn't the greatest idea. You need to be doing things to be proactive in prepping. That is my highest recommendations. Not that there's great channels out there that can't give you good advice. But we are in a time of war, folks, okay? That is abundantly clear. So act like it. Get your family ready. No, this isn't going to blow over. No, this isn't going to just wake up tomorrow and everybody's signing peace deals. It's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. So go do the things, okay? If you like what we're doing here, check out the links in the description. Join us on PrepperNow. Join us on Substack. Join us on Subscribestar and Locals. Join us as a member here. Our members are fantastic people. They aid in all that we're doing, like Bad Bobber and more. It is $2 a month. It means that I can sit out there and justify to my wife why we have to cut our walk short and I need to come and broadcast and tell everybody what is going on. That happened tonight. And that is from membership and people give a little something for the effort. So I am the product. If you like what we're doing here, you'll hit that like button and subscribe. I'm not going to try to pitch you anything so much. I got a bunch of offers from people. I'm going to go through them. I might take something if it seems worthwhile, but for the most part, the information that I give here, I try to do it free form. So if you like what we're doing and you feel it's worth your time and maybe a little bit of coin too, we appreciate all tips and donations, but we just love having you here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And we will see you on the next one. God bless.